All right, we'll be getting started here. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have Team Blaze versus Villains Black on Braxis Holdout. And this is a map that Team Blaze likes a lot for a variety of reasons. They have some cheesy strategies on this map that I'm actually a huge fan of. I'm a huge fan of cheese, to be perfectly honest. I think that having certain pocket strategies that if the enemy doesn't know how to respond to them in draft makes you just lose the game is actually pretty funny. Some of my favorite games ever have involved some pretty cheesy strats. Do I tie my bow ties? Yes, all of my bow ties are actual ties. I do not approve of clip-ons. We'll be getting in the draft here. Gul'dan gave me the band for Team Blaze that gives exceptional wave clear and actually exceptional sustained damage. Gul'dan's kind of a weird mage. All the other mages are burst damage. Gul'dan is sustained ability damage. Kind of an interesting dynamic. Villains Black is going to respond with the ETC ban. We've seen ETC banned first pretty much every single game in high-level play lately. Just neither team seems to want them to have it. In China, it's like mandatory. It seems like they're contracted to make sure ETC doesn't make it through the draft. Team Blaze is going to respond by picking up Dahaka and locking in a global. And this does tank choke a little bit. This is going to force Villains Black to pick up Muradin if they want Muradin. If they want Muradin, they have to pick it up here, or will be banned going into the second ban phase. Villains Black is going to pick up Vala, and Vala is the highest damage hero in the game right now. Basically, she's the highest sustained damage. She has some of the best burst. Her only real weakness is being relatively fragile, but she literally doesn't have damage to carry an entire team. So if you compare her with the right supports, like Ariel, you're going to be in a situation where your team should just always win in the damage race that team fights often devolve into. This does leave Team Blaze open to ban certain tanks. I would actually pick up Muradin here if I were them. Yep. And then ban Johanna going into the second ban phase. This will almost force Villains Black into going for Tyrael, which there's nothing wrong with Tyrael, but it doesn't really suit their comp right now. And Team Blaze will also pick up Li Ming, it looks like. They are going to have some sort of burst, some sort of kill potential. They're a little bit weak on wave clear right now because Dahaka will almost certainly be their solo laner. But they have two more slots in the draft to fix that. And there's a lot of wave clear heroes that are responsive to different styles of comp that Villains Black can't go into. So far, I think Team Blaze is winning the draft pretty strongly. But Team Blaze is going to have a tough time banning their second hero because there's certain heroes that they really want to get rid of. This is a 2-lane map. Normally Tassadar Vala is extremely strong. Tassadar Vala Ariel. But Tassadar on a 2-lane map, in order to get the full benefit out of him with the Vala, you kind of have to put him with your 4-man. That's going to be 2 supports with the 4-man. Vala does do a lot of damage, so that can be okay, but it's also a little bit risky. You can use Tassadar as your solo laner just to hold the lane, but it doesn't end up working out. A lot of times if your opponent in the lane has a lot of wave clear, which Dahaka will with Primal Aggression. So there's a dynamic there. It's quite interesting. Malfurion is going to be the ban for Villains Black, and Tychus is going to be the ban from Team Blaze. They do have 2 very durable heroes on their team, Dahaka and Muradin. Tychus would have done very well against that, but I don't think it's safe to put both Vala and Tychus on the same team in the majority of cases. So I don't think that was something that Villains Black actually would be afraid of picking up. I really feel like they either should have banned a tank to continue the tank lock, or ban Tassadar. I think this would have been much safer. I do not own a rainbow bow tie, Phantom Puppy. I have... This is actually my favorite bow tie, for the record, right now. You can see it has like a computer chip pattern, or a breadboard pattern on it. Quite fond of it. But I own some greens, some blacks, some paisleys. I have a white bow tie. On a pretty good variety of colors. Villains Black, actually thinking about the Arthas pickup here. Arthas is in kind of a weird place in the meta right now. He is considered a reasonable solo laner on a variety of maps, and you usually draft him as a secondary tank / bruiser. He does give a lot of peel for Vala. He provides an exceptionally strong front line that's very difficult to get through. But his low mobility in a 4-man is going to leave him extremely vulnerable to burst heroes like Li Ming, and of course Team Blaze has already picked up Li Ming, so I don't know about that decision. If Arthas is going to be their main tank, I think that's very questionable. If Arthas is going to be their solo laner, I believe he could match Dahaka in clear, and obviously has sustain. If Dahaka manages to land a drag on him, he has to stay far enough away from towers that drag will not get him into tower range. But otherwise, he can tie the lane against Dahaka. I don't think he can win it, but tying the lane is still something that's quite valuable. And Villains Black is going to lock in Kael'thas here. That makes me think they want to go Johanna for their last pick. Arthas will be their solo laner, and Johanna will be their 4-man tank. Kael'thas Johanna is one of the strongest combinations in the game. Normally, spreading Chain Bomb is a result of the team being up against being bad. In the case of Johanna, spreading Chain Bomb is a case of getting dem timings off because it forces everyone to group up. Team Blaze, feeling very confident in their draft at this point in the game, however, is going to lock in Sylvanas. They're at least thinking about it. If they lock in Sylvanas, they will certainly win the game harder if they can secure the points, which is the real purpose of Sylvanas on this map. And then they're going to need to lock in their support. They have some good options here. They could pick up Brightwing. Malfurion is banned out. They could pick up Morales. Morales or Brightwing are the two strongest pickups here, but if they're really worried about the area damage, we could see something like a Rhaegar. It is going to be the Morales. That gives them a lot of sustained healing. Morales into Kael'thas is extremely risky in the majority of cases, just because the area damage isn't something Morales can usually deal with. Team Blaze will have to stay spread out consistently, or they're going to end up getting chunked at the same time, and that's not something Morales can deal with. But Villains Black is going to leave themselves in a very vulnerable position if they pick up Alarak for their solo laner / bruiser and put Arthas in there as their front line. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea. Alarak beats almost every hero in lane if you play him well enough, but he actually can't chunk Dahaka enough to beat him in lane, and if he does, he can't actually kill him in the majority of cases, and Dahaka just leaves and then Z's back into lane at full health. Dahaka has essentially infinite sustain in lane because of his global. He never has to miss any soak in order to hearth back and come back to the fight. And I don't feel like Villains Black, I don't feel like Arthas allows them to win the 4-man. They had Johanna available when they wanted to go Kael'thas and didn't pick it up. I think that's a major mistake in drafting. I don't see how Villains Black wins the solo lane, and I don't see how they win the 4-man. And if you're not winning either one of those on this map, you're in bad shape. Do I know if someone's casting the Vox and Healy game? I do not know if anyone is casting the Vox and Healy game. The other people besides me who are casting are Cure Hots and Inviran. Yep. So if you check out their streams, one of them might be casting Vox and Healy. We are going to swap over to the game here. We are loading in. I need to update the team names. Looks like we will have left and right, making it all sorts of difficult for me. You ever want to frustrate a caster? Keep switching the sides that your teams are on. So right now, Villains Black was on the right side of the draft, but they're on the left side of the game. Not annoying at all. Sorry I'm not responding to questions in chat right away, by the way. The game is on a 2-minute delay. The stream is on a 2-minute delay. So we are a little bit behind. So on the left-hand side, we will have Villains Black, Glogan on Arthas, Spicy Macagus on Ariel, I like that name, Gulliver on Vala, Basher Happy on Alarak, and Enon on Kael'thas. On the right-hand side of the map for Team Blaze, we will have Snarly Brown on Lieutenant Morales, Vestige on Muradin, Aunt Jemima on Dahaka, Stoughton on Li Ming, and Oddish on Sylvanas.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gates open.
Looks like we're just going to have Alarak go to the top lane. We're seeing Dahaka and Jemima sort of waddle down to the bot lane. So Team Blaze is looking for an early pickoff here if they can get it. And we're going to see Villains Black playing very safe, just standing back, not going to let that happen. And Aunt Jemima will, of course, be able to use the global to go to the top lane very, very safely in the interim. So not going to miss any soak there. And as we can see, Glogan getting dragged, having no disengage, and gets instantly erased. This is the danger of Arthas in general as a tank, but as a solo tank, he just doesn't work. This is how you punish solo tank Arthas. You just walk up to him and CC him and kill him. It's actually that simple. On the back of that kill, we are going to see a lot of Sylvanas push. A lot of push from Sylvanas. We are going to see a beautiful Detainment Strike knocking Oddish away. That does leave the build inactive for a second. But on the back of that single kill, they're going to get an entire tower. And this is the power. This is the absolute power of Sylvanas on this map. And if you're winning the 4-man, you're going to start to get real structure damage basically instantaneously. The only hero that does this effectively, this dramatically, is Hammer. And in Sylvanas' way, in some ways, Sylvanas is almost worse as long as you have a lot of high damage auto-attackers. But this is just absolutely devastating right now. We are going to see the hat's actually on Arthas. Arthas is not doing a whole lot of damage. I don't know why that hat's not on Vala. Ariel's getting 0 healing, while Gulliver is actually doing a lot of damage. If that hat was on Vala, they would be in much better shape. And this is just going to hurt. Logan might go down again. Oddish with the aggressive haunting wave in. And they're just getting bullied. There's no other word for it. This is just straight up getting bullied. And we do see Aunt Jemima in the top lane as well, forcing Alarak back in lane. This is what I was talking about. Alarak wins the lane versus a variety of heroes. Dahaka is just not one of them. Everyone low in the bot lane. Sylvanas disabling the structure. The aggressive haunting wave in. Actually not going to follow it up. Could have gone in. Decided not to. And everyone's just going to back for health and mana. This is just aggressive play from Blaze, and Villains Black did not draft a comp that's going to be able to deal with this situation. They really didn't draft to support their Vala enough. I'm really still amazed that they did not pick up Johanna when she was available. Enon is just going to get collapsed on by Muradin. Vestige is literally just walking into the back line like, oh yeah, I'll get this kill, that's fine. Vala ends up going down. Again, no hope for Ariel. That's going to be the bottom fort for Team Blaze. I'm a little bit surprised to see Crowd Control was not the pickup here for Muradin. Crowd Control gives you exceptional clear against the waves of Zerg, but on the other hand, there's not going to be a wave of Zerg because they're going to get 100 to 0 on every single Zerg wave. This is pretty brutal to watch, and we can see Team Blaze is making the correct decision. Everyone's going to back for full health, full mana, and then go top to push with their Zerg wave to enhance the power of that Sylvanas. We may even see a 5-man push. If we don't, Aunt Jemima will be just using the global to go back to the bot lane. We're getting that camera lock bug again. It's so annoying. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Alarak, full combo, towers hitting him. Aunt Jemima gets chunked to a third, but can just back. Is going to end up going to the bottom lane. Meanwhile, 100% Zerg wave in the top. The towers are out of ammo already. Even if they weren't being disabled by Sylvanas, they still wouldn't be doing anything at all to the Zerg wave. And the push, we're going to see Kael'thas doing a little bit of work with his Flame Strike, trying to get that under control, trying to siege that out. And we are going to see he has 3 stacks of Convection, which is not terribly high, to be honest. Talent almost isn't worth taking. Camera lock issues. They should be able to get the forward here. They're looking like they're backing up, but they're actually just waiting for Dark Villains to overextend into kill potential. We are going to see Arthas take a ton of damage here, and very, very close to going down. They are going to be forced to back. Arthas is completely out of mana. And Enon, again, Murd is just going to casually walk up to him and kill him. Not really much he's going to be able to do about it. That is another kill on the Kael'thas. Detainment Strike does knock away to Haka, who did burrow in, trying to get in here for this fight. And that's both forts down and a decided win in the race 10. All the team plays has to do at this point is grab the camps as they come up, make sure they soak both lanes, get 10 first, and then force their way into a 10 versus 8, looks like, team fight. And that will probably be able to secure them keep, or they could just hide in the bush and kill everyone. That's the other option. Honestly, at this point, it's not even that dangerous. We're actually going to see Possession be picked up at level 7. That feels almost like bad manner. Possession is not anywhere near as good as Barb Shot on this map, just because it gives you so much better wave clear, better structure. But that's just like... we just want as much push as possible, and we already have enough wave clear, and there's no possibility that we're even going to need to do anything. You're going to see the teams, again, just back for mana, because they're out of mana. They didn't have to back for any other reason. They just were out of mana. We are going to see level 7 finally picked up for Dark Villains. We're going to see Burn Flash, of course, Chaos Reigns, Arsenal. Immortal Coil pick up for the Arthas. That is a mistake. There's just no other word for it. You do not pick this talent if you're solo tank Arthas, ever, under any circumstances. If you're the Bruiser Arthas and you're against a team that's very fragile, you can sometimes combo with Embrace Death at 16, and it's quite strong. But if you're solo tanking as Arthas, you just never pick this talent. If Alex the Pro G were here, he would actually get very frustrated and curse. You ever watch Alex the Pro G play Arthas? It is a wonder to behold, and he just does not approve of people taking that talent. Let me tell you. We are going to see Pulsing Light be the pickup finally for Ariel at 7. It gives her his cooldown. If Vala is on top of people doing enough damage, that's actually a reasonable pickup, just because she can refill the health bar or the hope bar more often than 2 seconds. We're going to see finally 10 picked up for Blaze. They are going to have the collapse in the Alarak here. No possibility that Alarak is out of the situation. Disintegrate, Medevac, Willing Arrow, Isolation, and Avatar. Pretty standard pickups across the board. And we are just going to see a 5-man push with the Bruiser camp that was picked up earlier. Between the wave being here and the Bruiser camp, this is going to get deleted. This wall is just dead. We can see Arthas throwing out these roots. He did take the reduced cooldown at level 1 Frost Presence, but the roots are doing nothing, so reducing their cooldown probably not terribly effective. Another beautiful meta grenade. And they're trying to get this keep before the beacons even come up. We are going to see Vala in the top lane using that deep damage to push, but without Vala here, Team Blaze actually has nothing to be afraid of. They can just keep pushing in with this lane. Vala is the damage dealer that they are afraid of. Vala needs to be here to have any possibility pushing them back. And because they're not here, just free kill on the keep. Ancient Jemima is going to head to the top lane, not capping the point just yet, hoping he can get the 1v1. Nope. He's just going to start working on the minion wave. He does have that Primal Aggression at level 1, so he's going to be able to clear that extremely quickly. And this is going to be both beacons going over to Team Blaze. Still no level 10 for Villains Black. Oh, the Wailing Arrow securing the kill onto Alarak with the Haunting Wave over the wall. The plays are real. Oddish just casually walking in, securing that kill for her team. And this is going to be a 100-0 Zerg wave with the Zerg pushing on to an open core. The keep is already gone. Oh, this is brutal to watch. And they're even going to get Boss, just casually getting Boss at the same time. This is one of the largest pushes I have ever seen in the entire game. This is a 100-0 Zerg wave with a, almost a talent tier advantage. They did lose it temporarily there with Boss pushing the far lane. And the medevac may be a little bit cheeky. They did take a lot of damage there, but with everything going down, they will actually be fine. Alarak ends up going down. Counter-Strike not enough to save him. Syndergosa not enough to slow down the spread. Kael'thas ends up going down. Arthas ends up going down. This is Ultralisk, Hydras, Guardians, Encore. This is wave after wave after wave of minions. This is Catapult. This is a 5-man push. And this is going to be a sub 10-minute game for game 1. That was brutal. Wow. We're gonna update the score, like live. You guys are gonna see that 1 go up on the board for Team Blaze. We'll even production value and move that over a little bit. There we go. Make sure it's centered. That was brutal to watch, guys. That was absolutely brutal to watch. But congratulations, Team Blaze. Going up, I believe. So the bracket says these are best of 3s. I'm looking at the bracket right now. And it says they're all best of 3s. So we will have at least one more game coming out from this matchup, Team Blaze versus Villains Black, and then we'll be advancing to the second round, round 2. There are going to be, I believe, 4 rounds casted today, and then the semifinals and finals will be casted tomorrow. Is the Arthas pick to freeze the Zerg wave? That doesn't work anymore. Syndragosa does not freeze Zerg anymore. I can show you guys what I was talking about with the cam issue. So here's the HGC thing, but the screens aren't transparent. So this is the thing I wanted to use as the cam screen, but I don't think it was designed for that. They're not transparent. Super close game, baby. Faye! Guys, it's Faye. Faye's in my chat. And we'll have a... Faye's in my chat. We will have game 2 coming up here momentarily. Let me whisper, actually... Halorn is in chat. Halorn, would you like to cast? There'll be more production value next time we do this, guys. I literally got informed an hour before this was going on, and I got the art assets. I did not have time to set up all the scenes and make them look all pretty, unfortunately. But anyone who is a fan of my stream knows that the production value is never very high anyway. Shout out, by the way, to new followers: Frozar43, Hyper Object, Jade Tuff, Firaxis56, Shiba and Inu, Athrock is now, K-Knight QC, Pat Shiku, and Mantis701. Thank you so much for the follows. I really do appreciate it. I don't have the alerts up because I don't want them to interfere with the cast. But I'm checking my email, so you will get a shout out if you choose to follow in between games. You know how many hours I've spent watching Faye play Here's the Storm? I'm a huge fan of Faye's stream, and now Faye's in my stream watching me cast. Like, how could you not be excited by that?
And this is the definition of doing it live.
It's the only way we do things on the stream. We only do it live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Halorn. He'll be my co-caster. Unless he gets called in randomly to work, he is on call. So, but in the meantime, he will be casting with me. We are going to move in here in a moment to Villains Black versus Team Blaze Game 2. The map will be on Infernal Shrines. Both the teams are just readying up here.
Got to see game 1. I got to see game 1.
What there was of it, you got to see.
Team Blaze came ready to play. They want one of those top 8 spots, and they made a pretty big statement on that front.
Yeah, they did indeed. And I'm curious to see, there's always, with open events like this, the seeding can't be perfect. There's always going to be some one-sided games, particularly earlier on in the brackets. I'm curious, looking at the bracket, when we're going to start to see games that are close, where the top amateur teams that are sort of at the top of the scene right now and have been winning the Heroes hype every week are going to face some of the semi-pro teams that have been together for a while, like Box and Healy, and if those games are going to be closer, or if there's still going to be a little bit of a gap. But the draft is going to get started here. Are you in game?
I probably should be, huh?
Well,
Like, I was not anticipating. Let me look at it.
when you're in the game, the lobby is available. We'll be able to get you in there. But for the moment, it looks like the draft is finally going to start. We have Villains Black versus Team Blaze. It's like Crone is here as well. And everyone's watching my stream. This feels really good.
Feels
Welcome,
good, man.
everyone. We are going to have that first ban on Sylvanas, the Sylvanas respect ban. They're like, okay, we saw it last map. We don't want to deal with that again. Let's just not ever deal with that again. Team Blaze gonna ban Dahaka, and Villains Black gonna go old school and pick up the Kerrigan first pick on Infernal Shrines. For months, this was a very popular strategy, and then people figured out that if you just go double tank, Kerrigan suddenly actually can't do very much.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Villains Black will never go solo Arthas again.
I mean, I hope that never happens.
I can tell you that one. Because that was a display. Team Blaze starting off with the ETC to start up their composition. ETC's alright.
Yeah,
Spicy.
yeah. As I said, as soon as you go double tank, Kerrigan's utility in team fights goes way, way down. She still is the best Shrine racer. If you can zone for her and she's on the Shrine by herself, A+. Still great in that sense. But in the sense that she's going to win a fight or kill anyone, not with Double Warrior on the other side. Villains Black, gonna pick up Li Ming. This is Li Ming's worst map by a decent margin. And Li Ming is actually one of the worst heroes to pick into Zarya because Zarya has to wait till that orb comes out, shield herself, and gets guaranteed energy, which is something you just don't want to give Zarya ever.
They're hovering.
Yeah.
Villains Black. I'm not entirely sure where they're going with this composition. You see ETC Zarya, right? And it's like, Tychus is a hero. Like, you might want to take him. And then if you're going to go Ariel...
You might want to pick up Vala. Or Gul'dan.
Or not Li Ming, whose orbs stand to get very little value during the shrine phases, which are pretty important, as it turns out.
It almost feels like they were thinking about trying to do a Cho'Gall comp and just cheesing the map. Just cheesing Team Blaze. But,
if someone can out-cheese Team Blaze... That's up to them, because they go way outside the norm. They played the last game straight up, and their comp looks to be pretty standard so far, but they're pioneers of the meta for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna see here. It is gonna be a ban on Lunara. I actually like that ban quite a bit. I don't like Lunara with Kerrigan in the majority of cases because you need a certain amount of burst, but they already have it with Li Ming, and Lunara would do a lot to feed into. Give them a hero that would actually feed Ariel hope. They do have to ban the Murden and Dead. I actually like that quite a bit more. Just because there's no real solo tank without Murden ETC on the back. All the other tanks have weaknesses that need to be drafted around. And there's limitations to what you can draft around in the tanking world.
Yeah, I thought we might see Tychus get banned in that capacity when you're showing an early double warrior, but if you can limit the innate engage options of your opponents, force them into something like Johanna, you could have a pretty good time.
I don't know. I feel like Villains Black just isn't considering a lot of the potential for their side of the draft. It feels like they're picking up a little bit of this and a little bit like, oh, I'm good at this hero. Oh, I'm good at this hero. And they're not. Maybe they haven't practiced enough together as a team to really think about comps as opposed to just picking the heroes they happen to be good at or thinking about the map specifically. Team Blaze is going to lock in Lunara, Vala, and that's an enormous amount of damage plus an enormous amount of sustain. Zarya shields, ETC can pick up either Block Party or Prog Rock, which is going to give more healing, more sustain. Whatever healer that Team Blaze picks up, they're actually going to be in good shape at this point.
You can tell that Team Blaze really refined themselves out of those last two picks. You pick up Lunara, not a hero that we see as often, but when you're facing up against Ariel and in this situation, that's a huge denial to Villains Black. Puts them in a pretty interesting spot because Kerrigan's going to have to do a ton of damage to really set up the hope generation. But there is Tychus. Okay.
So Tychus is a good hope generator when his trait is available, but otherwise he's not. Li Ming is a good hope generator if she hits the full range on Orb with her full combo. Otherwise she's not. So Ariel is going to have inconsistent hope generation, and normally you're limited by your cooldowns as a healer. In Ariel's case, you're limited by your hope generation. If your hope generation is inconsistent, it's like having inconsistent cooldowns. Sometimes if Rhaegar's chain heal were occasionally 2 seconds, but then occasionally 16 seconds, he would not be a good healer. He just wouldn't be. But that's the situation you have when you don't give Ariel a really consistent hope generator. And that's the situation Villains Black has intentionally put themselves in with their draft. They had options. They could have picked up some of the more consistent hope generators and didn't opt for them. And Team Blaze, I'm curious to see which support they're going to lock in, given their comp so far. I would love them forever if they decided to go for Triple Warrior and had a supportless comp with just Zarya and Prog Rock ETC. I would be very happy about that.
That would be brazen and bold. They're hovering Uther, which we don't see him that much either, but I think this would actually be a really smart choice. Kerrigan goes to engage. Whoever the target is catches a Zarya bubble, and if it gets real dicey, you got Divine Shield, so by the time all that plays out, Vala and Lunara have done all the damage in the world.
Now, you say things like Divine Shield, but you gotta remember this is Blaze, so I'm gonna call Power Slide into Divine Storm into Rain of Vengeance. I think that's gonna be the play.
Cav, if that happens, there will be a smile on my face. For sure.
Are you in the game? Oh, there you are. Are you in the lobby and everything? Awesome.
Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing.
And your volume seems a bit low compared to mine. I'll boost you up a little bit. I feel like Blaze really won that draft. I almost feel like they picked up the Lunara because they wanted to pick up the Uther. But that doesn't. I say that, but it doesn't even make sense because Villains Black had already locked in Ariel. This draft is just strange from Villains Black. There's just no other word.
I gotta tip my head. Kendo, shout out to you. Never trust a big button and smile. That girl is poison. I can't believe I almost forgot to say that. But I got it. I got it. I feel like Villains Black didn't learn a pretty critical message from the first game. I generally am not a fan of solo Tyrael for his lack of ability to peel. I know you and I kind of disagree on this, but I don't feel like Tyrael's gonna watch a lot of his teammates go down in this game, I feel.
I mean, if they can coordinate the Maelstrom into Sank and use it to deny damage, I think they'll be in good shape. But
Sank would have to be on an 8-second cooldown, man.
yeah, they
worried
literally
for
are gonna have
Villains
3 seconds to win all of their post 10 team fights, and if they don't win their post 10 team fights in those 3 seconds, they're gonna die.
It's gonna be very
those
awful.
are their options.
I mean, Johanna was really the only control tank left, but I mean, I feel like that would have been a stronger setup for what they're trying to do. It would give them some, it gives you some offensive options. Condemn can kind of set up the Kerrigan combo. Blinds would do a lot to negate what Vala and Lunar are going to bring to the table. I don't know. I'm not entirely sold on the Tyrael pick.
No. But I also don't think they necessarily had a better choice, given that they had already taken the Kerrigan based on the tanks that were available. Also, we are going to have to swap the team names in the scene because, as everyone knows, the most annoying thing you can do to a caster is swap which side the teams are on. Whatever. We are going to get the game started on the left-hand side. We will have a Team Blaze. We're going to have Oddish on Vala, Aunt Jemima on Zarya, Snarly Brown on Uther, Vestige on Uther, and Stoughton on Lunara. Hippity hop.
On the right, we got the members of Villains Black. It's going to be Glogan on Li Ming, Enon's on Kerrigan, Basher, Happy's on Tyrael, Gulliver is traveling on Tychus, and Spicy Mick Haggis.
I know.
With the hope and a dream on Ariel. It's pretty good.
We are going to see one of my favorite things in the world. We're going to see Zarya just cheesing top with her shields. You're going to see her go all the way to the tower, shield herself, get that free energy. She's going to swap places with her range, shield them, give them energy. And look at that. Look at that. Full energy Zarya already working on that maximum charge quest picked up at level 1. This is some pro level Zarya play already right here.
I like it. It's definitely a good start for them. That talent, that quest will be filled up sooner rather than later. 3 members of Team Blaze looking to keep the pressure alive and well on the top lane. Having 3 members committed here. Kerrigan tries to go in with the combo, lands on Aunt Jemima. Good amount of damage, but they are able to back out.
I'm actually really low. It does have shield available. Is going to be able to back out of this safely. And this is a 4-man rotation from Dark Villains Black, and they did not get any sort of value out of it. They aren't quite going to miss any soak mid. Tychus will be able to get there in time. Kerrigan coming down, trying to look at the ETC. ETC, however, is going to be absolutely fine. Going to mount up, hide in the bush, get the body soak. Meanwhile, the tri-lane top is returning, and Team Blaze is continuing to push in.
I'm wondering if Villains Black has gotten to the heads, or Team Blaze has gotten to the heads of Villains Black a little bit. Like, this is a pretty heavy rotation to have some luck simply. So again, Basher's on his way, and it's actually Glogan who's almost first to fall. It's not going to be Team Blaze up here. Oh, there's Basher.
And we are going to see Li Ming with the hat. This is what I'm talking about. Hope generation is inconsistent. Sometimes Spicy McHaggis has hope, sometimes he does not. We are going to see Enon go down here 100%. Nope, the hope, nope. Kerrigan does eventually go down, and it's just not enough.
Yeah, the moment I saw Vestige slide out on Enon's face, I was like, yep, that's going to be the first takedown. Trying to activate to the bottom part of the map, and Stoughton is anxious to get the party started.
We are going to have Lunara just casually in the bot starting the show. Yeah. And no one's even rotating. Level 4 still not picked up for Villains Black, so they don't want to get on the Shrine just yet anyway. Team Blaze is aware of that reluctance, and they're just going to start zoning the Shrine, pushing people away, slowing down the rotations, trying to slow down the experience gain, while they get more people on top of the Shrine to start racing it. And Zarya on the Shrine is actually pretty amazing. Her basic auto attack is, after all, area damage, and if you can group them up, she can kill multiple Shrine things at the same time. Stoughton gonna dodge the combo, but Oddish actually accidentally walks into it. That's gonna feel bad that the first combo you landed pretty much all game was the one that you meant to hit someone else with.
And I'm sure Oddish was like, whoa, hey, like, I wasn't involved in all that. But they only need 3 more defenders before they claim first Punisher of the game. And this is a critical moment, because like you said, once level 10 comes online, it'll be a small window, but it starts with a kill on Lunar.
And it does give Li Ming a reset. That was the best. Like, Villains Black finally securing the kill there. It's got to be a big morale boost for them. But it's not going to be enough to help them secure the Punisher. Everyone's out of mana, out of health. And they're going to be forced to back up, but they're just trying to delay the back so that they can get more value out of this Punisher. We are going to see a lot of pushing power from Zarya. These towers already out of ammo. Looks like the 1v1 in the bot lane is not going well either. A beautiful power slide to follow up the Punisher jump, and that's going to be Tyrael down.
Order Punisher off the top rope, sets up the power slide kill. That's Team Blaze. Second takedown of the game for them, and the bottom 4. Not a bad start.
Not a bad start at all. And normally you're happy to get a wall off your first Punisher if you don't have a Sylvanas. But that's the entire bottom 4, basically. I mean, the tower's out of ammo, it's at a 3rd health. It's going to go down pretty much for free anytime any push happens in that lane. In the meantime, Stoughton was double soaking mid and bot. Couldn't quite do it without missing any soak. His wave clear's not that good yet. If he does pick up Nature's Calling in 7, it will be. But that's still just such a huge lead for Team Blaze.
And if you're on the side of Villains Black and you have a composition that needs to thrive before heroics get picked up, that's not what you want to see by any stretch of imagination.
No, it is not. Apparently sound is too loud. Turn that down for you guys. Sorry about that. We are going to see again a return to the tri-lane in the top for Team Blaze. They're like, okay, we're going to reset. We're going to go 3-1-1. We're not going to miss any soak. We end up getting the entire wall. They sense a disturbance in the forest. They mount up. They're getting ready to get out of here. Oddish with the vault to deny the Kerrigan combo, which does finally get up. Oh, they might get a... Nope. Oddish gets basically healed. Uther was saving his cooldowns for that. And Jemima with the shields, and Li Ming actually ends up being the one to go down. And this is the danger of Zarya. Zarya just has so much shields that it's hard to burst anyone down when you have a burst comp.
I mean, they sent 4 people up here. The well-timed shields from Aunt Jemima is going to save all the members of Team Blaze. That was essentially a 3v4 advantage Villains Black. Vestige did rotate up to secure the kill at the end, but they needed to execute in that moment for sure, I feel.
Yeah, and we are going to see them push, just continuing to push at this point. Lunara, again, with the double stoke. Vestige with the guard, just in case. We are going to see Enon go extremely low, ends up going down to that last little bounce of Puncturing Arrow. And this is going to be the well going down at a minimum, which means they can back off at this point, secure in the knowledge that they have a well for this top lane Punisher fight, and Dark Villains Black does not. I keep on calling them Dark Villains for some reason. They're Villains Black.
Well, they're starting to fall further and further behind. Second Shrine activates Team Blaze, jumping on that, getting a 10 defender lead. Stoughton on Lunar is just going to push this wave up, take some of these shots off the fort. I do believe, Kev, Team Blaze is looking for at least top keep wall up.
I would have to agree with you. They're going to have level 10 for this push, and there's no possibility that Villains Black can catch up with that. We're actually going to see Seeker picked up for Li Ming. Again, this is a map where if you're fighting on top of the shrine, in the majority of cases, skill shots are not going to hit things. They're just not going to hit things. So Seeker not going to get a lot of value on the shrine fights themselves. Maybe Glogan's going for some sort of defensive hope, where they, you know, with the Punisher not in the way, they can skill shot people down. But I think that's pretty risky. 10's finally going to be picked up here for Blaze. We are going to see Divine Shield. So sad. Thornwood Vine, Strafe, Expulsion Zone. ETC hiding his heroic for the moment. No, but it is going to be Stage Dive, which means he can continue to split push, double lane split push with Echo Pedal while his team pushes this forward and then join the fight whenever he's actually needed.
That's gonna offer them a ton of mobility. I was actually thinking the way Villains Black has rotated up top and tried to stop the push in the top lane, they might have been better served just going for someone else. Find someone in the mid lane or in the bot lane that's been soaking, and then just 1v4 and blow them up and stop the experience progression. Because they've been losing out pretty much on all fronts.
They have indeed, and this is a basically full health Punisher on top of Keep. The wall's going to go down basically instantaneously. Look how much siege damage a full energy Zarya does. That is just absurd. It would be even worse if Lunara had gone Nature's Calling, but she did end up going Splintered Spear. And T-Blaze isn't even greedy here. They're like, okay, we got the keep wall, you baited the Punisher in the middle keep, good job. We had EDC soaking that whole time, and we're just going to back up and start to push in the mid lane, doing the exact same thing.
Again, this is the behavior of a team that is seriously eyeing one of those top 8 spots. Another team might have decided to continue to push there. They would have been under even talent tiers, and it could have gotten a little dicey, but no, they're showing some discipline and poise, rotating the mid lane.
And you can see ETC continuing with the split soak. He does keep clearing that bottom wave. Enon's going to go deep here. They're going to get the split, the cleanse, and the Divine Shield onto Oddish. He's going to save her from that combo. Tyrael goes down before he can use Sanctification. And the chase is going to be real. Spicy McHaggis with the Demon Strike trying to get the knockback, but Vala with the chase is going to be able to knock that down. Hot Pursuit at level 1, knocking him away from a Vala under the circumstances with her full stacks up. The Laser's just going to be taken care of, and Team Blaze is going to continue to just casually push in and grab this middle fort for free.
That little progression does not bode well for the rest of this game for Villains Black. If Tyrael can get deleted before he presses his R key, that's a problem.
And you're going to see Snarly Brown back up, give himself a self-kill. They were a little bit messy on who was supposed to be taking that building and who got the shield from Zarya, but it didn't even end up mattering. And we're going to see it goes down to the poison, which is one of the worst feelings in the world. Like, oh, we managed to make them back off. Oh, no, wait, it's going to die anyway.
And unless you got Tassadar on your team or something, you're watching that bad boy go down. Level 13 advantage is picked up by Team Blaze. We're looking at Face Smelt, Shrink Ray. I know Kerrigan doesn't want to see that. Greater Spell, Shield, Gloom, and Endurance Training. Li Ming's going to have a tough time bursting through all that.
Yeah, and Phantomima has been at full energy pretty much all game, which means that talent basically reads take 20% less damage all the time. And that's on a hero that has yet to actually die. So if they couldn't kill her before, they're going to have an even harder time killing her now.
Yeah, that's a thinking emote for sure. Like, well, really, I don't know, man. It's getting real, but next Shrine phase is here. Early lead again for Team Blaze. 4 members of Villains Black looking to do other things on the map, which is a very smart decision being down to talent tier. Just going to try to push the heck out of this top lane.
And we're going to see Vestige trying to deny. Gets knocked away, power slides in. Is going to get a little bit of clear here. It does have tap available as well. Kerrigan going to be slow on the rotation because she was clearing out the siege in the mid lane. But Team Blaze is not going to give them much of a breather. They burn that down extremely quickly. And now they're going to be pushing onto a keep wall directly with a Punisher. Last time this happened, they got the keep wall, but they did have to stop and, kill a fort first. This time they're pushing right onto the wall. And Oddish is just casually killing the side wall, which is going to allow them to invade much, much more aggressively this time around.
And Vestige just did a really good job of stalling out the Hearth back to base. The tied up time for Team Blaze to go through this bottom keep wall effectively for free. The Arcane Punisher still is at 90% health. This is at least bottom keeping.
At least. And you're going to see Expulsion Zone, the zoning Expulsion Zone denying the disengage for Li Ming. She ends up going down. And Laser is going to get focused, I hope. Nope, they switched to focusing the keep, then they're going to focus. No, they don't even care. They don't even care about the laser. They're like, oh, whatever. There's a laser there. We can just kill them and do all sorts of damage. The laser's not going to matter. We are going to see Sanctification literally on top of their Nexus just to make sure everyone can retreat. That is the most defensive Sanctification I think I've ever seen, and it was just not enough.
First, last, and only one of the game, GG. Villains Black got the idea to start making some of their own decisions a little too late in that game. With them rotating up towards the top lane, that was really smart. I commend them for that. Because they had been effectively just responding to whatever Team Blaze was doing all game. And that's not how you're going to get ahead in those situations.